Before I begin this episode of The Art of Learning to Love Yourself, I would like to let you all know that chances are I'll be leaving this series behind for a little bit, as I'm starting uni in a couple weeks and I'm sorting all of that out. I'll still be recording and uploading when I can, but due to the fact that I make a new piece for each new fic I read, I'll probably do more multi-chapter fics such as those in the narrator series. I hope you can all understand and know that I will return to The Art of Learning to Love Yourself, but only when I can comfortably. Enjoy the episode. The Art of Learning to Love Yourself by Natty on AO3. Read to you by Just a Lot of Trees. Part 5 of the series, The Son of the Firelord. Summary. The second law of thermodynamics states that nature tends towards a state of disorder. Murphy's law states that everything that can go wrong will. Izuku and his friends find this to be the case when they're out for a peaceful day at the mall, though they should all know by now that having all of them together likes to reset the world to its natural state, disorder. They find themselves barreling through the mall, tailed by 6 criminals, before they are able to lose them by the appearance of a hero. Trigger warnings given for this chapter are mentions of child abuse and bullying, but nothing is explicitly stated, though we are dealing with Endeavour. Sometimes Izuku feels as though he and his friends should not have gotten together. The sheer chaos energy that the 4 of them exude is insane. The strange combination of chaotic intent and enablism solidly cements their positions as menaces to society. The only one who he hasn't included into his small group of friends is Eraserhead-san, but that's mostly because Izuku doesn't want to take up the hero's time with his nonsense. Definitely not because he wants to keep Eraserhead-san's attention, to feel special for once, because he knows that once he introduces his friends to him, the pro won't want to talk to him anymore. Izuku still has yet to give the man his Hatsume brand cuff, but he'll get around to it soon. Regardless of the relative should-haves in relation to the 4 of them being friends, their presence has made Izuku happier than he has been since he was 4. Mum tried, sure, but to her, Izuku is her baby. Not that there's anything inherently wrong with that, but sometimes Izuku thinks that she'll wrap him up in bubble wrap and not let him out of the house. And even though some of the craziness that they get into gives Izuku anxiety, he could never be more grateful for Shinso-san, Hatsume-san, or Monoma-san. He can also tell that their group has also helped his friends, which he couldn't be happier or more proud about. Shinso-san has come out of his shell a lot, only finding it impossible to talk in school. He used to struggle with his selective mutism everywhere, but the more exposure the purple-haired boy got to Izuku and the others who remain resolutely unafraid of his quirk, the more his personality shines through. He's become a real arsehole. Not like Katsuki, who's mean and cruel and painful. Snarky and rude, but teasing and absolutely hilarious. The boy also functions as the voice of conscience of the group, and that should say something about the situations that they get into. Hatsume-san has become more grounded, no longer stuck in her mind with only her thoughts as company, without another person to use as a soundboard. She has people to talk to now, to show up at her house and take her out for fresh air, to give her company and listen to her rambling when she's trying to figure something out, to give her a new perspective on her ideas, to broaden her horizons. She's just as much a mad scientist as she had been, but now she has people skills on top of that. She will take the support company by the reins one day, with several heroes backing her, and the world will be all the better for it, Izuku's sure. And Monoma-san has become less jaded. No longer is everyone out to get him. He still knows that most are, but he has some trust and no small amount of hope now. He matches Shinso-san blow for blow, and the 2 of them make absolutely wonderful commentary and narration when they're together, and it never fails to drive Izuku and Hatsume-san to stitches. So yes, Izuku will never regret becoming friends with those 3 wonderful people, even though sometimes he regrets being their biggest enabler. Why? Izuku pants as they dart around a corner, expertly weaving through the crowd of startled shoppers. Did any of us think this was a good idea? Hatsume-san's responding cackle of laughter from behind him, and the twin side eyes from the taller boys in front of him, don't give him any comfort over the sound of yelling from behind them. It was your idea, Shinso-san quips, less out of breath than Izuku. Curse his long legs. You tell us. I, for one, Monoma-san says, think this was a wonderful idea. So maybe Izuku isn't their biggest enabler as much as they're his biggest enablers, but that's beside the point. Yes! Hatsume-san exclaims, dodging around a startled lanky man holding a cup of coffee precariously. You always give me the best opportunities to show off my babies. There's a loud crash behind them, and Izuku turns his head in time to see their 6 pursuers stumble over each other as they try to take the turn without losing speed. Fortunately for Izuku, they're not as coordinated with each other as he is with his friends, so they get in each other's ways, while Izuku and his friends are able to almost seamlessly move around each other. They've all been friends for about 5 months now, give or take, and pulling stunts like this for about 4. While they try not to make stopping armed robberies or muggings a habit, all of them have somewhat of a hero complex, and none of them are good at keeping their noses out of things that aren't their business. They can't be arrested anyways, they never use their quirks, and Hatsume-san is licensed to carry and use all of the babies she carries with her. It's not like there hasn't been an effort, the first couple times at least, so the 4 of them have gotten acquainted with Officer Sanza and Haruka-san, the nice lady at the front desk of the station. Mum was nearly frantic with tears when she got the first call, but when she saw Izuku sitting in the station, smiling and laughing with 3 of his friends, she couldn't be angry, especially when she was assured that the kids weren't in any legal trouble. They had a sleepover that night, and that was when Mum started keeping the good coffee grounds in the kitchen. They dash around the corner and slip around the next, blending into the crowd just in time for a hero to take action. Shouto! Watch carefully. This is how a hero is supposed to do his job. A loud voice booms out over the chaos as the owner of the voice makes himself very visible. Decked out in his hero costume, that he definitely hadn't been in a minute ago, Izuku would have noticed any actively patrolling heroes in his sight. And his signature beard and mask flaming into existence, Endeavor shoots over them, blasting everyone with uncomfortable heat as he barrels towards the 6 unfortunate people who had been chasing them. Usually, Izuku would be focused on the hero's actions and taking notes, but there's something about Endeavor that has the green-haired boy looking to where the hero came from. His eyes meet mismatched ones locked onto them, curtained by red and white hair. A large red mark stains the boy's face from under his bangs and sprawling across his cheekbone under the red hair, accenting the brightness of his blue eye. In contrast, the boy has an icy pewter eye, shrouded by smooth white hair. Anyone who knows much about heroes knows who it is. Todoroki Shouto, son and heir of the number 2 hero in Japan. But what really stands out to Izuku is the expression on Shouto's face. Izuku would expect the son of a prominent and successful high-ranking hero to be confident, cocky, brash, and maybe a bit unaware of their surroundings, confident in their quirk and probably believing their futures to be set in cushy careers as high-ranking heroes or public figures. Izuku has seen legacies before, and though he has nothing personal against them, they don't truly understand the majority of the people they're supposed to save in the future, and tend to see heroics as a popularity contest. Todoroki-san's expression doesn't match any of that. His face is blank and eyes sharp, on edge, searching for a threat that may or may not be there. His mismatched hair is swept down in front of his face, and he stands still with his arms by his sides. If Izuku looks closely, he can see his hands opening and stimming slightly by his sides, as if prepared to use his quirk at a moment's notice. He reminds Izuku of someone who's always watching out for something. Someone who listens for footsteps at the door, or who makes themselves small and observant in order to know where their largest threat is. Todoroki-san's eyes are focused on Izuku and his friends, because they are out of breath and not panicking at the presence of villains. Todoroki-san doesn't act like someone with privilege, and he is kind of suspicious. He reminds Izuku of himself, of Shinto-san and Monoma-san. He has been abused, and who could get away with hurting the son of the number 2 hero right under the man's flaming nose? No one. That means... Izuku side-eyes his friends quickly, noticing them looking back at him with curiosity. He decides then and there, yes, this one will be mine too, and decides to make his way over to the boy, knowing his friends will follow along behind him. Heterochromatic eyes stay locked on them as they weave through the crowd in practiced motions. As they get closer, Todoroki-san seems to become perplexed. It's a subtle thing, but Izuku has learned through years of knowing Katsuki and being bullied how to read micro-expressions. Todoroki-san's eyebrows furrow and his fingers still, and Izuku wouldn't have noticed if he wasn't paying such close attention to him, but there is evidence of it. They have to get pretty close to be able to speak to Todoroki-san because of the villain fight happening. It's noisy and the crowd is in constant motion, but the boy's on the edge of it, far from where they would be jostled around. It's a good thing a hero was here. Izuku starts when they get close enough, so he doesn't have to yell. But I wish it wasn't your father, Todoroki-san. He always takes things a bit too far. Izuku ignores the hissed Midoriya from Shinto-san behind him as he watches as surprise flashes over Todoroki-san's face before he's able to school his expression. It's much more obvious than the confusion from before, but still, if he hadn't been paying attention, he would have missed it. Yes, he does. He replies with a flat voice, eyes flicking from Izuku's for a moment to glance over his shoulder, probably to track his abuser. He doesn't seem to know when too much is too much, Izuku replies, slowly tracking his eyes over the boy's scar, prompting his hand to rise and lightly trace it. His eyes flick down to Izuku's collar, where his shirt has dipped, making one of his burned scars visible. In more ways than the obvious, Todoroki-san replies, and most of the tension in his shoulders dissipates. Evidently, he has decided that the 4 of them aren't going to be a threat to him, and at least one of them recognizes and relates to his trauma. Izuku nods in acknowledgement. Midoriya Izuku, he introduces, before gesturing out to his sides. Shinso Hitoshi is the one with the purple hair and Gucci eye bags, Hatsume Mei is the grandma with dreads, and Monoma Neito is the posh blonde. He continues, once again ignoring his friend's reactions. It's nice to meet you, Todoroki-san. Todoroki-san is Endeavor, the boy says quickly, nose scrunching in distaste. What would you prefer then? The heterochromatic boy pauses for a moment before slowly saying, Shouto. You can call me Shouto. Izuku beams. Well then, nice to meet you, Shouto-san. Chat with friends? Members. Bunny, Kitten, Badger, Ferret. Bunny has added Shouto-san to friends? Bunny has changed Shouto-san's name to Polar Bear. Ding! Ferret. Welcome to hell. Bunny. Hey, it's not that bad here. Ding! Badger. I can't believe there's never more BB ideas. Ding! Kitten. I hope you don't mind constant notifications, Shouto-kun. Ding! Polar Bear. No, this is fine. Just... why a polar bear? Bunny. Because ice, quiet, actually a softie, but would 100% bite. Ding. Ferret. Are you sure about that, Midoriya? That he's a softie? I don't see it. Ding. Kitten. No, he's onto something. Shouto-kun may hate Endeavour, for good reason, but by the time we had to leave, he was totally soft for Midoriya. I see the resemblance. Bunny. Thanks, Kitten. I don't know, it's also like general vibe? Ding. Ferret. I see. Absolutely no reason then, aside from that you just felt like it. Bunny. Exactly. Ding. Polar bear. So, it's a good thing, right? Ding. Ferret. Holy shit, your grammar's burning my eyes. Ding. Polar bear. Thanks. And Deho hates it. Ding. Kitten. I too dislike it. But I understand. Spite is a powerful motivator. Bunny. Speaking of, Ferret, I never know if I did something wrong or you're mad or something when you text. Because most people only use right spelling / punctuation / caps when they mad. Ding. Kitten. Then suffer. Ding. Ferret. Then suffer. Ding. Polar bear. Jinx. Did I do it right? Bunny. Oh, bear. That was so precious. Chat with Eraserhead-san. Eraserhead-san. Yeah, good. I made another friend. Oh? Yeah. Are you gonna rant about them to me? Yeah, but I wanna ask something first. You know I'm open to questions. Go for it. Okay. So, you're a pro, but like, what if you found out another pro was an arsehole? There are plenty of arsehole heroes, be specific. Like, abuse family arsehole? Your new friend. My new friend. Who am I losing Nezu, rat god, praise be, on? You know Endeavour? Problem child. What the fuck? She's just as much a sad scientist? God. She's just as much as smad.